just get some things done here. It's early in the morning, and we're going to start off by checking what I've already made, see where it is. And then I am going to be making a cherry wine. I have some other fruits in there, but I think I definitely want to do a cherry wine. So, but right now what we're going to do is we're going to check this one. This is a water wine. Don't be concerned with the label. Okay, I reused a container, which I suggest you doing. Okay, especially in the beginning instead of buying equipment. But I do have some equipment at this point. Okay, so we will get into that. But this was water. Okay, this was water, and in this water, I started on May 28th. I only used bread yeast. I didn't use any fancy yeast, and I added 1 cinnamon stick, which I'm quite sure we'll be able to see it in here at some point. Okay, and my starting gravity was at 1.090. Okay, now that's the first thing I'm going to check with this to see whether the gravity is, and from there I'll be able to tell you what percentage. And I heard that I had a hard time with this wine because I thought I can make it have a high wine, a high alcohol percentage, and it kept stalling on me. Let me turn these, I have some boiling water going in order to keep everything sterile. Okay, it just wasn't working, or it was working really slow. So that's why this will be my first gravity reading since May 28th. And so with that, put it at like 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Yeah, it stalled on me. I have 3 of these going. And the thing about these type, when you turn water into wine, you can put whatever flavors you want in it after the fact. Okay, so I'm not sure how this is working, and that's what we're going to do right now. Let me grab some things here. Okay, so I have some stuff that's sanitizing. It was sanitizing in a solution that I have. And so we're going to test this. Okay. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to put some of this in here. Wait, look like I have a couple of droplets of water. And I'm going to put my hydrometer in here. Okay, like that. And then we're going to go in and we're going to grab some of this. Now, from my understanding, a lot of people say they're not getting high readings. I can smell. Oh, yeah, I can smell the alcohol. Okay, so right now, it did ferment. It just fermented slowly. It did not go dry. Oh, where was it? It was at 1.090. So let me show you where it was. It was down here. It was at the 1.1. I'm sorry, the 1.090. It was here. And now it's up here. So it did ferment to, it looks like at 1.030, if y'all can see it right there. So I'm going to write that down. That is a good fermentation. I'm shocked that it went that, because after doing the research and reading what people were saying, they was telling me they was only getting like 2%, 3%, but they was doing it quickly. Okay, so fermentation usually take 3 to 7 days. So as we see, if we let it go longer, it will eventually ferment. So today's date, man, I hate that I dropped some water on this paper. See, so I, hold up. I'm gonna put this. I'm not gonna put this back in here because I am gonna rack this. I think I may leave it in here, to be honest. There's not really much sedimentation at the bottom because it's just water with some yeast and that cinnamon stick. I'll decide what I'm gonna do with that, but I'm gonna write those numbers down. Okay. So today's date is, I'm not sure. I know it's June something. I'll put that in. And it was at 1.030. Okay. Cool. I think I'm okay with that. I'll see what that adds up to. I have a calculator, or I could do it myself. You take this number, subtract that number, and then you take whatever number that is, times it by what's the I don't have my notes up here, but I do have a calculator also on my phone that will tell me what the percentage is. Okay, but I'm actually done with this. I have two others going, and which are higher in alcohol. If they ferment out, it'll be a higher. This was the lowest one at 1.030. I think the other one was at 1.090, and then I had one at 1.110. Okay. I picked up the lowest one to see if it fermented, and it has. Okay, so the good thing about this wine is that you could turn it into whatever flavors you want. You could add Kool-Aid. This would just be the base, the water, right? If it's sweet because it didn't go dry on me. If it went to if it had gone to 0.999, that would have turned it dry. The percentage on this would have been, I'm not sure what the percentage would have been. Let me look. If it had gone dry at 1.030. I'm sorry, at 9. Yeah. It would have went to 12%. It would be 12% if it had gone dry. It did not go dry. It went to 1.30. Let's see. So I put this at like 12%. Wait, no. It would have went, wait a minute. I'm getting my numbers mixed up, y'all. I had it at 90. It would have went to 12%, and it didn't ferment, just like 20 points. So yeah, it's somewhere at 9%. Okay. Somewhere 9%. I'll check though. Don't quote me on that. Only thing I added was I didn't add anything else to this except the water, the yeast, and the cinnamon stick. I have no tannins or anything in here because I can add that after the fact. Okay. Depending on the flavor that I add. Like for example, if I wanted to make this a root beer wine, right? If I wanted to make one bottle, because this is 1 gallon, which will make anywhere from 5 to 7 bottles of wine, depending on the size of the bottles. Okay. And so I can make different wines out of the 5 bottles. Could be a different flavor for every single one. Okay. I can add strawberry flavor, root beer flavor, just whatever flavor you want. And I have a lot of extracts. I also have, you can also add this to drinks. Okay. But see, I have this strawberry puree. I call it puree, but I think some people say puree. But it's strawberries all pureed up, and you use these for mixed drinks anyway. So I can add this to give this a strawberry flavor if I wanted to. Okay. So that's what that's good for. And it's really easy to make. You don't need anything except water and sugar. I have the other two. One of them I added lime and like various things. One of them I added raisins to, just for different flavors, okay? I could taste this. Let me taste a little bit of this really quickly. And then we're going to move on to the banana and blueberry and see where it is, okay? Let me take a little taste. I'm going to just grab a glass here. Okay. It looks like water, okay? It looks like water. It does have a little hint of a color. Let me see if you can see it. See it? Kind of, but it looks like water. It's not clear. I haven't cleared it out. I still have it fermenting. So let me taste it. And it tastes like alcohol. This will be good with any flavor you put in. This is good, actually. Yeah. Actually, I like this the way it tastes. This tastes pretty good. I wonder, that cinnamon must have, do I taste cinnamon? I taste something, right? It's just not the taste of water. It doesn't taste like water, but it does have, I could taste the alcohol, and it has a flavor to it where actually it tastes good just the way it is. I'm shocked, but I'm shocked about that. Yeah, yeah. Okay. I'm gonna do something with this. I'll probably make another video, go live, and show y'all what I'll do with this. But this tastes good. Okay, let's move that to the side. I'm gonna let the other ones. So let me give you some. Tell you how easy this was. Okay, I put this in this bottle. The reason I put it in a bottle that had drink in it already, you know, I drank the juice out of it, of course. But because we know that it's sterile, right? It's a sterile environment. Of course, I washed it out, and then I sterilized it, and then I put water in it, and then I put the yeast and sugar in it. Okay? And I don't have any other special equipment. What I do is every day I put the top on. Well, every day I don't put the top on. The top is on it, okay? But every day I go and I turn. It releases the air, and then I turn it back, okay? And that's, if you can make wine without any special equipment, but you will have to do that every day or every couple of days. Do not let it go too, because in a few hours, actually I don't even have to wait a couple of hours. If I put this on tight, by the end of this stream, if I release it, you'll hear the air release. Okay, don't put it tight. Most definitely don't put it tight. But where I have it sitting on the third floor with the others, and every day, you know, whether it's this time of the night, when I remember, I go up and I turn all the bottles, and then I leave it there. Okay, that's if you don't want any equipment. You can make wine, and you can make it from water. That's why I did this, so to prove to you that you could do this, and all you need is water and some sugar and some yeast. Okay. And some yeast, and I use bread yeast out of the regular store. Hello everybody. Hey, it looks like we have a few people in. Okay, how y'all doing? So you can make your wine, and it doesn't have to be high in alcohol content. Now, this is higher than the wine in the store. If you buy wine from the stores, it's sitting at like 7%. So this is maybe a tad bit higher in alcohol volume than that. Okay. Yeah. This I could, if I do the calculations, which I'll do it. I'll end up doing it. But yeah, I definitely know this is sitting at higher than 7%. Maybe a little higher than 7%. I pushed it and tried to get it at 12%. I think it may eventually, because I'm not sure if it's still fermenting. Like, it's fermenting so slowly that I couldn't visually really see it. Okay. And it could be, actually, it's still, wait, I don't know, my eyes playing tricks. Let's see. Let me do a close-up, y'all. Let's see if we see Oh, is that sound now? Apparently, I must have touched the mute button. Can you hear me now? Hey, Brandon. Oh, Brownie told me I was muted. Damn, when I started getting muted. Oh, Lordy. Apparently, I hit the mute button on the phone. I apologize. So I was talking. So this is the clear portion of the wine. This is the end result. You don't throw this away unless you're wealthy. If you're wealthy, you could throw it away. But they call this dirty wine, and it's because it has some sediment in it. But and I'm going to show you. I'm going to pour the wine portion off in this glass in a minute. This is clear like this, but this isn't as clear. Let me show y'all that. Okay? This isn't as clear. You don't throw that away. You put that in something, like another little container. Let me find one really quickly. Just a water bottle that you used already. Oh, no. Damn. Oh, there's no water bottle down here? Oh, yes. That's my peanut butter wine. My peanut butter jelly wine, y'all. So I'll show it to y'all in a minute. I need a little container. Like a water bottle. A used water bottle. I don't see one around. I keep my water bottles upstairs. The water, but they fill with water. Let me drink this first. Okay, I poured that out. Okay, so here's the extra. Let me show it to you. Here's that wine. This is the extra wine. And this is the dirty wine. Okay? The dirty wine, I'm going to just pour it in this glass. And I'm going to show it to y'all. Oh, that last little bit that fell in there. This is the dirty wine. Okay? What I would do with the dirty wine, first I would put it in like a empty bottle. Plastic bottle, glass bottle, whatever. And then I would put it in the refrigerator. And what had happened is it's called cold crashing. All the sediment will fall to the bottom. Bam! And clear it out. And then from there, you can either drink it or, store it somewhere. Okay? This is the sediment, the yeast. See it down there? This is the sediment and the yeast. That's what I wanted to get it off of, okay? Because if you leave it on there too long, it can start gathering some of the flavors from the yeast. That's what they tell me, okay? Now, when I drank this, let me see. This don't taste any different than that did, even though I noticed the dirty wine. Okay, the only people who have really noticed something like that, like my son, gonna tell me, it has a funny flavor. And I'm like, a funny flavor? The only reason he even knew, because he could see it. You know, we eat with our eyes, we drink with our eyes. He saw something, and because he saw it, he claimed he could taste it. I'm like, no. Now, if he would have grabbed some of this thickness would have went in his mouth, then that would have been a little different. But I am gonna I gotta find a bottle and put this in. Let me show you my peanut butter wine. Because I did, and maybe I'll pour that in there because I really don't like it, right? I made, with that Welch's wine that I showed y'all how to make, I put the Welch's in here, and then I put some peanut butter extract. Let me show you that. I put the peanut butter extract. You just need a tiny bit. Now, what I did, I used a little bit too much originally. Because originally I made it in a glass just to test it, see how much I needed. Instead of me using one of those, the squeeze things where you measure, forget what it's called. I have some in this drawer. They come with the kids' medicine and things like that. Instead of me using one of those, no, I decided to use the cap. I used the cap, y'all. I did it the gangster way, okay? I used the cap and I said, boop. And then I poured it in there, and it was way too much. which is why I ended up having to make it in thing like this, right? It really tastes like peanut butter and jelly. Okay, I used the grape wine, and then I added some peanut butter flavoring in it. If you put enough peanut butter flavor, not too much, but just enough, it tastes really good. So it does taste good. It's just I don't like it. Just because it tastes good don't mean I like it. The reason I don't like it because it's weird drinking the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's kind of weird to me, you know. But it does taste good though. I'm not going. It tastes good. It tastes good. Okay. I have all kinds of extracts. I have strawberry extracts, almond extracts, vanilla, of course, lemon extracts. You could do a what is called something cake. It's like cake batter extract. All those type of things. Okay, so I'm gonna put this. As y'all can see, this is clearly different than this. These are two different though. This is blueberry. By the way, here's the blueberry. See how clear that is? It's gonna get clearer. Okay, I'm gonna add a little more to this, and you can fortify with. I think they call fortifying when they add. What the hell is that? Oh, okay. Okay, I was scared. You could add alcohol to your alcohol. They call it fortifying, I guess, because alcohol kills things. I'm not sure if y'all know that, but alcohol, just like the rubbing alcohol will kill germs and things like that. Okay, not sure if y'all knew that, but they would take if they would, like, for instance, I have head space that I don't want there. It's a good thing that I do have some extra though, right? I do have some extra, so I'm gonna pour it in. And bam. So I want that all the way to that area. I want less head space because I don't want this to turn to vinegar. Now, if it does turn to vinegar, for those who was planning to drink it, yes, you might be a little upset, okay? But don't pour it out because vinegar, wine vinegar is what people use to cook with, okay? People use to cook with. Now listen to me, y'all, okay? If y'all would like to really taste a little bit of the wine that I made, okay? I could send you some, but listen, Linda, okay? I'm not sending you no full bottle because I ain't got no full bottle, but I will buy like them bottles like this. Maybe you don't know if you want to start making your own wine. You would like to see what it tastes like. It's even worth it because you probably thinking, Mom, I don't even think I'm going to like it. You know, you got to stop trying to get us to make some stuff that we may not even like. But I'm saying even if you could turn anything into wine. Is what I'm saying. Iced tea. You can make tea with tea bags and turn it into wine, which I will be doing. Okay, I got some tea bags. Look, I be buying the cheap. I'm turning the cheap stuff into wine, baby, okay? The cheap stuff I'm turning into wine, like that water. That water was cheap because I pay for that water every month like clockwork right out of my faucet. And I just added yeast to it and some sugar, okay? And I turned that into wine, okay? Yes, I did. And then I ended up with these blueberries. Like I said, they came from a family member, okay? Just like them cranberries and them cherries that I got. You understand? They came. I'm going to do something with them. I'm going to turn it into wine. So what I'm saying, you could try this yourself. It really is not expensive. You just need to buy yeast, and yeast is cheap. Okay, some of y'all be buying cologne and watches and all kinds of shit that costs way more than a packet of yeast. The yeast only costs less than $2. Okay, and you probably already got some sugar in your house. You already got. Look, I'm over here trying to act like I'm what is his name? That comedian? Damn, I can't think of his name right now. The one who ratted on everybody last year. Yeah. All you gotta do is use your sugar. You already got the sugar. Okay? And make it yourself. Okay? The banana wine is the reason I did banana wine. I did buy some bananas, but bananas are cheap. You know, you buy a little what you call them, bananas for like $5 and turn that into wine. Yeah, that's why I ain't got no strawberry wine, okay? Because strawberries cost a little more. That's why. Look, I can go into all the fruits that cost a little bit too much, and that's why I don't have those yet. But I will be making those. Okay. I'm gonna sit this. This is called bulk uh, aging. Okay. You do not have to let a wine age. The age start from day one of fermentation. You can have a wine that's 30 days old. And I think that's why I had a conversation with some people and they was like, nah, because the wine got to be aged and I buy it out the store because it's aged. And that's what they tell me. They say, Baum, you got to age wine for it to taste good. And they say, so when I buy it, it's aged. And I'm like, how old is it? They's like, no, Baum, wine got to be aged. I said, okay, so when you buy it out the store, what age is it? And they don't know. The aging starts from day one. The banana wine is, what today's date? Is on the 25th of this month, my banana wine will be 30 days old. Okay? And that is age. And yes, when you buy it out the store, you don't know what the age is. It could literally be 30 days or less or more. The older it is, the more expensive. If you think you're paying $7 for some aged wine, you must be out of your mind, okay? That wine is 3 days old. They process that real quick. they probably have a fermentation. It's almost like sourdough. I don't know why people be wanting sourdough bread. Because I don't think they know what the purpose of sourdough bread is. Like, what's the purpose of sourdough? Well, sourdough, and so the people like myself who bake, where I don't have to always create the yeast or the fermentation needed, right? So, because if I did, it would take 24 hours, 48 hours. When you do sourdough, though, you have one that's already started. It's a kickstart to the rise in fermentation. You know, when we make pizzas, that's fermentation. That's why you use yeast. When you make bread, that's fermentation. That's why when you take the bread and you knead the dough and then you let it sit for an hour or two, that's fermentation. The longer you let that dough fermentate, the better that piece of dough tastes. That's why stay at home homemade pizza dough tastes better than even in the restaurants. Okay, there's no pizza place around you that's gonna have a pizza taste better than your pizza if you do it. But people say they don't have time, and so time is what they say they don't have, and therefore I don't understand why people are making sourdough bread, because to make the sourdough is time. You got the sourdough making, and then you got to add it into it, and now that's why it's called sourdough bread. You had fermentation done prior to you adding it, okay? Like making yogurt. I don't understand people buying yogurt. Do y'all know what yogurt is? Yeah, listen, when you have milk in your refrigerator that you didn't drink, and it start curdling, welcome to yogurt. Welcome to yogurt. you throw it away when it's in your refrigerator, but you buy it in the store. And I'll be like, why did you buy it in the store if you're throwing it away when it makes naturally in your refrigerator? Yogurt is sour milk. We call it sour milk, but do we really call it sour milk? Because when we eat sour cream, then that is sour milk, right? So we actually do eat those things. We really do eat. It thickens up and it becomes the very thing that you eat. But I can't tell nobody nothing though, because I'm wrong. And my sons be getting protein drinks and things. And I told them that I can make their protein for them. And they told me no. And I said, you'd rather make a drink out of worms than for me to show you how to them protein drink powders is worms, y'all. That's worms. The white worms, they take them and crush them all up and everything and make it into a powder. And so you eating worms. You literally he's drinking worm juice. Okay, I'll just be like, wow. y'all got to stop. Hey, TMKC, how you doing, sis? She say, whey has to come from plants, don't it? Whey comes from plants. The courage and whey, the whey is I'm not sure what you mean whey come from. Whey is from I'm not sure what you mean, but I'm trying to understand what you mean. Cause you take milk, right? You take milk and then you separate the milk when you upon the separation process, whether you do it naturally by spoilage naturally or you do it by whipping it or right, then you separating the whey from the curds or the whey from the fat, right? So when I showed y'all how to make butter from milk, it wasn't milk, right? But we do know cream is milk, right? Cream is the fat portion of milk. So when they pump the milk from the cows, because one is the fat settles to the top, right? Y'all ever like grease like this? Like this is fat from pork, right? And you see how it gels up. So the fatty portion though, when it's not like this, because it's warm right now, that's why it's like this, but when it cools down, the fat goes to the top and creates like a layer, right? Well, that's what happened with milk. The fat portion of the milk rise to the top, so they skim it off, and that's called cream. They call it cream, okay? And then the other portion of the bottom of that is called the milk. And then when they start lessening it, adding more water, then it becomes like 2% milk and stuff like that. 2% milk doesn't mean you have 2% fat. It's all tricky, the way they word it and what people think it is, okay? But they just water down the same exact milk. There's no cow that creates 2% milk. It's the same cows making all the milk. And it's the way they process it. And then so it bewilders me when I'm listening to people say they eat healthy and that's why they won't drink whole milk. And I'm like, well, you're not eating healthy. What you're doing is you're drinking overly processed drinks, because the milk is the milk. They start separating parts of the milk, the higher in the fat content. So because it's fat and creamed up, that's the 100% milk with the fat, right? They skim that off and call it cream and sell it to us as heavy whipping cream or light whipping cream, right? And then what's underneath that is going to have more fat in it. It's more natural, right? It's more natural because it has more fat in it. And then when they start doing the 2%, they start processing it, making it 2% and 1% milk. And so you just got the same milk, just overly processed. That's all. So when I mention milk, well, the cream portion of the milk is the heavy fat. So that's why you're able to whip it and make whipped cream. So that cream, when you whip it, it makes whipped cream. And then if you continue to whip it, it then makes ice cream. And if you continue to even process it even more and whip it more, then it turns into butter. When it starts turning into butter, that's when you whipped it so much that it started breaking down, right? At first it's whipped cream, it just got stiff. It turned into ice cream because it got stiffer, right? It got stiffer. And then just know that whipped cream and ice cream is pretty much the same thing, except you add a few more flavors to make it sweeter, right? Um, you add in some sugar, you add in a little vanilla flavor because you want vanilla ice cream or whatever flavors you want in it. But now, when you start overly processing it, that's when it now breaks. It starts breaking up. And the solids from the water, which is the curds, is the solids, and the whey is the water, is the juice. So they break away from each other, and the whey is your buttermilk, and the curds is the actual butter. Okay, that's why I like science, and I like it with food. I can explain it more with food than I can if we're talking about something more scientific. Okay, but this is all science. Okay, because you started with one thing and it turns into not just another thing, but that other thing turns into a whole nother thing, and that turns into a whole nother thing, and you could keep beating this stuff and turning it into different things. And it's all science, because you whipping air into it. That's what turns it in from cream into whipped cream, right? And ice cream. When it's ice cream, you add ice to it, right? Because you put it in the freezer, right? And then but you keep whipping it. The process everything start breaking down and separating. And so the whey is buttermilk, because it's the milk from the butter. And the butter is the butter, and it comes from cream. Okay? And so I'm not, so when you talk about, and if you're talking about whey, I think you're talking about protein. Okay, let me grab that. Let me see. We have a couple of them over here. Let's see. So let's say this. Right. Or how about this? Let me get into it for you real quick. Okay, I hate that. See this? My son bought bread with protein. Okay, bread with protein. Okay, bread already has protein in it. So bread has protein, and your protein comes from wheat. So I think I know what you meant now. But when you talk about whey, you talk about something else. So my son says, "Hey, Mom, I want to eat more healthy." And I'm like, "Okay." He said, I want more protein in my bread. I'm eating healthy, and we need protein, right? He said, "We need protein." I said, bread already has protein. Damn, I don't have any regular bread, y'all, right now. Let me see what this says. Okay, so he says, "Mom, I want bread with more protein." Because I tell him bread already has protein. Bread comes from wheat. And maybe that's what you meant when you say whey. You're talking about wheat, right? So when I think I know why you mentioned it, because I was talking about the protein drinks, right? So I told you that it's from worms, right? Yeah, it's from worms, right? This protein is from worms. You could go look that shit up any day, every day. I promise you that. But when they start talking about adding extra protein to it, well, let me show you what that looked like. Because remember, protein is in the wheat. So flour is already lots of protein. But in order for them to add more protein, right? This is called vital wheat gluten. and nothing else. So I replaced 1 scoop of this with 1 scoop of the flour. So let's say I had 6 cups of flour and I want to add protein to it. I would take 1 scoop of flour out and replace that 1 scoop of flour with 1 scoop of this. Uh-oh. Darn, it's going to be dead. Am I here? So gluten. Let me see. Gluten is protein in wheat. Yeah. So when you say gluten is protein in wheat, though, you mean worms mixed with wheat, right? Like people don't be paying attention to what they saying. Protein is worms chopped up. That's how they make it. That's how they make your protein drink. They take the worms and they chop them up. And then to add more, so you could do things with it. Like for example, pancake mix. This is a protein pancake mix. How do we make pancakes, y'all? With what? With wheat, right? And when they want to add protein, they add the chopped up worms. When they make bread, how do you make bread? With wheat, right? And when they want to add more protein to it, they add worms. Right? That's what this is. That's what you gotta. First, you gotta know how are they making your protein? You already got protein if you eat meat. You already got your protein for the day. So the only people who really should be eating protein drinks and stuff should be those who do not eat meat. Vegetarian, vegans, the people who don't eat meat, yes, they should take a protein supplement. A few years ago, see, these diets keep coming around, these health fitness rules, they pop up, and then the scientists say, oh shit, that was bad. And then it goes away for a few years, and then somebody on the internet brings it back up, and then the companies make money that way. Because they make money as long as you buy it. And then when we find out that it's unhealthy, then we stop doing it. So then people don't buy it no more. But then a few years later, somebody going to say, oh, I got an idea. Let's do a high protein thing. But that was something called the Atkins diet. This was in the 2000s somewhere, maybe around 2000. I don't know, 2000, 2010, in that range. It was called the Atkins diet. The Atkins diet was on protein. You don't hear the Atkins diet no more. You know why? Because a study found that the Atkins diet was bad. What they found is that people was eating protein, and the protein is good for you, but it can be bad for you in too much protein as well. People wasn't eating bread no more, right? And so what happens, you lose weight real fast with a high protein, low carbohydrates. But then people started getting sick though, right? The first thing started happening and people have bad breath. You have high protein, you're not having any carbohydrates. You lose the weight real quick, but then something happens to your body and it starts going what they call stall, right? You no longer lose weight. And people then try to figure out why they're not losing weight. Okay, because you need carbohydrates, because carbohydrates is what gets your engine running. It's like the gas. What happens though, the internet makes things worse because one person started making something famous, they go viral, then everybody, like right now there's these AI videos of elderly people. They making them black for the most part, telling y'all, hey, if you just add clove with some honey and some pepper, and it will have you doing this. If you add some this with that and this, and you will get rid of this. Add honey with some garlic cloves and some paprika and some other, it will cure cancer. Like, okay. Those things are going viral right now everywhere, to where even my sister was like, oh yeah, I tried this. And I'm like, but that's not new. Like, it's not new. All the old shit is coming back. These people knew this shit way back centuries ago. Our grandparents knew petroleum jelly was good for our hair. It's good for our face. It's good, right? Because we use Vaseline. Like if we go back into our family, well, some of y'all can't, I guess, because if well, it depends on the age range, right? Some of y'all wouldn't know how good petroleum jelly is and what it's good for. And it's good for many things. Your face, right? Your skin, your hair, right? All kinds of things. But when we look at older people, we'll laugh and say, hey, they used to use Vaseline on their hair. Oh, they used to use Vaseline in their face. And then when you go to look at the chemicals that y'all buying today that cost $30, $40, $50, one of the main things in that is petroleum jelly. It is Vaseline. Okay? People used to make fun. I remember the kids making fun of me when I told them how I wash my hair, right? I use egg and mayonnaise, right? I make a concoction to wash and condition my hair with mayo. You make mayo with eggs, right? Eggs and oil. That's how black people used to condition their hair. And our hair was voluptuous. It was pretty, right? Healthy before the perms and things like that. And they laugh. And what I would tell them is go look at and see what's in those things that they buying for all that money in the store. It's going to be the same ingredients. Green tree oil. I think that's what it's called. Green tree. Yeah, green tree oil. No, something tea oil. All those things. But we was using it for real. Like we didn't go buy the oil. Like we had a tree in the background, bay leaf, and stuff like that. Eggs have botany in it, makes hair grow like crazy. That's right, Brandon. Hey, young Grace, how you doing? They debunked Dr. Atkins and his face in scientific meetings back then. He died from a bad diet. Yep, so you know what I'm talking about, Brandon. But think of what my son is doing right now is an Atkins diet. It's just not called that. He's doing all this protein. And nothing's wrong with protein, but everything in too much is too much. So he eat meat, right? They got these things where he go to I don't know, I never went there, but it's where you could get tacos and stuff, and they do these bowls. And both my sons go there and get this bowl, and there's lots of meat and lots of rice. And the thing is, I am from the South and I cook. And everything I cook with is with rice. But it's not just with rice, because we have a meat, right? I may take, instead of frying chicken, I stewed the chicken. I made a gravy with that chicken. And we put it on top of either rice, for the most part rice, but sometimes mashed potatoes, right? My kids grew up healthy. They wasn't fat. They was healthy. Everything about their skin and hair was healthy. When they became adults, that's when they want to, they go and eat at Chick-fil-A and places I've never eaten at. And then they start gaining some weight. And the thing is, what's crazy is they gain some weight. And then when they're ready to lose weight, they tell me, hey, I need you to cook for me. And I'm like, boy, I've been cooking all your life. But I need you to, and then they want to tell me how to cook. We need protein. We need this. We need that. I'm like, what? I said, I've been cooking for you all your life. I don't have nothing in here with box. Look, if we go through my cabinets, baby. See that Jiffy box right there? Hubby bought that himself maybe like a month ago. Okay? A month ago. But I make cornbread from cornmeal and flour. You understand? I don't make no Jiffy cornbread. But I used to, though. I used to love me some Jiffy cornbread. My parents never used Jiffy cornbread. Okay? They made their own cornbread. I bake in here. You see, I have yeast. Look, we could go through my cabinets, baby. Look, you go on this side of the cabinet is nothing but canned goods. Okay? Canned goods and stuff like that. And on this side is all my baking stuff, grits up there. You know, I got all kinds of stuff, but we cooks in here. Okay, we got some peanut butter because that's my baking stuff. See all that stuff right there? My husband got that. I don't even eat nothing wheat. Remember a few years back, they was telling you people to eat wheat, and they wanted wheat bread, wheat noodles. I was like, I'm not eating that. It didn't even taste right. It tastes bad. My husband bought brown rice in this house, and I was like, I am not eating that. But everything was brown. Even when you went to the store, it had gotten so bad to where I couldn't even find nothing but brown bread. I was like, brown bread was everywhere. The whole shelf was just brown bread. They had a few white breads, but it was brown bread. I was like, I am not eating that. You know, people went on that kick. And then they found out that brown bread, brown rice, brown wheat is bad for you. It actually has arsenic. It actually poisons you, y'all. There's actual arsenic in the husk of wheat, which is why they started processing it into white. But people forgot about it. Somebody said it was healthier, and then the companies don't care. The company's going to give you what you want. People start talking about it's healthier, then the company's going to make it. And they know it's not healthier. Hey, Saxon, how you doing? Okay. They know it's not healthier. And so that's how we go, baby. That's how it go. Okay. Anyway, that's the wine making. I got to put some things away. I am going to be making, and I probably, what today is? Today Sunday? Yeah. Maybe later today or tonight, I will show y'all how to make my cherry wine. Okay. Right now I have 2 hibiscus wine. They are done. This blueberry wine is done. I'm just going to let it age. Okay. It is done though, but I wouldn't, this need to be back sweetened. These, but I'm gonna let them age, and then I know that the fermentation is done with them, so I don't have to worry about when I back sweeten it no more. It won't fermentate anymore because the alcohol content is very high. Okay. The banana wine is done as well. I'm gonna put it somewhere and let it age. The hibiscus is already aging. The water wine, I'm gonna add some flavors to it when I get some bottles. I have to get some bottles for that. And I'm going to start, I want to do a pineapple wine, but I'm broke, okay? I'm broke. So I got to get some pineapples, okay? And I want to make pineapples, the cherries I have already. I'm going to do those. And one other, I definitely want to do pineapples. I heard pineapple wine is good, even dry. I heard pineapple wine is good. So, and they say it tastes like pineapples. I'm not sure. Don't quote me, okay? I know that hibiscus, the best wine that I've made to date, though, at this point, that hibiscus wine is so good. Yo, I was so shocked. Because the hibiscus flavor is okay. I'm not really a fan of it. I have to sweeten it to a certain level. And I remember it as a child. And it's not that bad. But the wine, though, oh my goodness. That hibiscus wine is good. And it's cheap to make because hibiscus, I only use 4 ounces of the leaves to make the tea. So hibiscus is a tea. So you can make a tea into a wine, which I have some regular green tea up there and black tea. And I'm going to make that into a wine too. And I'll let y'all know how it tastes. But y'all don't need to know how it tastes for me. You just need some sugar, baby, and some yeast. You could use this type of yeast. But you don't even need to buy yeast if you use fruits. So if you use if you use fruits, like fresh fruits, where they already have yeast on them, it's uncontrolled, right? It's uncontrolled. You'll never know how it'll process, if it'll go high or not, right? It's uncontrolled yeast, but we have yeast all around us. Yeast is in the air, and yeast is on fruits. So you don't even have to buy yeast, to be honest. But that's it. Look, my phone gonna die soon. Every time I go live, my phone die. I talk too much. I talk too much, and I never shut up. Anyway, listen, make your own wine, y'all. Be 21 and over. Okay, I don't know what you could do when you're under 21. Don't ask me. I don't know. Okay, I think you can't buy it, but I think you can't drink it. Okay, so don't make it. Don't make it if you're under 21. But if you're 21 and older, make your own wine. This is peanut butter jelly wine right here. I made it with Welch's grapefruit juice, and then I added peanut butter extract in it. Here's the peanut butter extract. If y'all don't believe me, I had a little bit, and it tastes just like peanut butter and jelly. Okay, I don't like it. It's not bad. It tastes good. I just don't like it. People be like, how can it taste good and you don't like it? It tastes good. It tastes like peanut butter and jelly. I like peanut butter and jelly. I just don't like drinking peanut butter and jelly. Okay? Ooh. I can tell you what I did. But now listen, I'm being fair. I added too much of this to it. And so and the alcohol level is high on it as well. I think the alcohol in this was 15% on my grape wine. Okay, the Welch's wine turned into 15% alcohol. It's strong, but it tastes good. It mellowed. But then when I added the peanut butter, it gave it that harsh, boom, flavor again, almost like an alcohol. It's almost like this might have alcohol in it, which I do know extracts do, by the way. Extracts are made with alcohol, in case y'all didn't know that. So that might be why I got that punch, because it's not even settling. Because I've had this for like 2 weeks now. I made this 2 weeks ago. It tastes bad. It's not settling. Okay. So I think it's when I added this, it took that alcohol level strong. Let me taste this. Let me taste this, y'all. Ooh, good God. Yeah. I put too much of this. I think maybe I'll mix it up again. One more batch, maybe, with a little bit. Add like a couple of drops. This stuff is, ooh, it tastes real kind of, it does have a peanut butter. You know the peanut butter when you bite the shell and you get that little layer over the peanut butter in your mouth, and it's like a bitter, but that's what this tastes like. It's almost like this was made with probably the shells itself instead of the peanuts, which is a thing. That actually is a thing, y'all. That's how they make most extracts. The extracts are not made with the fruit. It's made with the shell or the nut. Like almonds is made with the nut. Not the portion. Almonds is made with the shell of the nut. The extract. Yeah, that's vanilla is made with the bean of the vanilla. You know, you put the whole bean in there. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go. My phone about to die, and I hope y'all enjoyed the stream. Make sure you hit the likes, hit the thumbs up, and we will talk again. I will be live later tonight, though. Okay, I'm going to go clean this mess up for hubby wake up. Okay, gotta go. See y'all later. Thank you for coming. Okay, bye bye.